Hello students, welcome to Learner's Planet. Let us continue with the chapter Cell, Structure and Functions. Cell, it is a basic structural and functional unit of life, right? And of course, after so much discussion about the same topic, I hope it is very clear to you that why it is known as the structural and functional unit. Right. We have discussed the different basic components of the cell, and they are what? They are plasma membrane, or you can call it as a cell membrane, that is the outer boundary of the cell. After that, we said another important component is the cytoplasm, in which different organelles are present, as well as which is comprised of some jelly-like mass, isn't it, which is made up of essential biochemicals. Fine. Beside this, the another or important organelle is which one? It is the nucleus. And then we discussed that how this nucleus varies in prokaryotic cells as well as in the eukaryotic cells. Right. Now, all these components that we have mentioned, they are simply the basic components. That means they are essentially present and in each and every type of cell, despite of the type of organism and despite of the type of function it is having. Right. So all these things are present. Besides this, I explained to you earlier that in plant cells or in some microorganisms, beside this outer cell membrane, the cell is covered by another boundary, and that is known as cell wall, right? So plant cells, they are having this additional layer over there. In these plant cells, there are some more other important things which are lacking in the animal cells. So there are some basic differences also between the animal cells and in the plant cells. You know why? Because they are having a very different function which as compared to each other. Fine. So now let us just discuss that what those important parts are, and of course, besides these different parts, we are also going to focus on the organelles which are present in animal cell as well as in the plant cell. Besides which particular parts? Nucleus, membrane and the cytoplasm. So now let us see that what other important parts are present in the cell. One such important part of the cell is the vacuole. Vacuoles, they are the round, dark, sac-like structures which are of course found in the cytoplasm of a cell. That means these are membrane-bound organelles, right? This is the important first point that we must understand while understanding the structure of a cell and the structure of the vacuole. Fine. This vacuole is not so much complicated, as these are the empty spaces, we can say. Fine. Which are filled with some material. Vacuole, as I'm saying, is a membrane-bound organelle, right? So what does it mean? It means that it is absent in the prokaryotic cell. So now it is present, of course, in which cell? Only in the eukaryotic cell. You remember, in the prokaryotic cells, all membrane-bound organelles are absent. So, of course, this is one of the difference between the prokaryotic and the eukaryotic cell, if such type of question comes in your exams. Fine. Now further, they are present as a round, dark, sac-like structure, right? So, sac-like means what? A bag-like structure which is carrying something inside. Fine. So these membranes, they are bounding some space, and these spaces, they are filled with some different materials. Now, what type of material? That actually depends upon the function of the vacuole in that type of cell. Fine. Structure or shape is something dark. I'm sorry, it is round or spherical, and that you can see in this picture also. You can see this round body. See, this is a it is a section cut out from the cell, so it is showing you the hemisphere here, right? But actually, it is a round spherical body. Fine. Second thing is that vacuole in animal cells, vacuoles are present larger in number. That means it is not simply a single organelle over there, or it is not present in single number. Rather, there are so many vacuoles inside an animal cell. Fine. Second thing is that the size of vacuole in animal cell is very small, or it is smaller than the one which is present in the plant cell. So this is a specificity of this particular vacuole in the animal cell, and hence we are using the plural form of vacuoles in this title as well as in the sentence. Fine. Next, in the case of plant cell, how it is present? Of course, it is opposite to this of animal cell. Let me show you one picture also. See, so in the case of plant cells, the large vacuoles are common, but it does not mean that they are not having the smaller vacuoles. Small vacuoles are present, but they are few in number, and that too in the young cells. But as the cell grows and it ages further, the size of vacuole increases and it almost occupies 95% of the cell, or means occupies such a large space inside that it shifts the different organelles towards the side. So usually what we say, in the cell, the nucleus is the centrally located organelle, right? But in this case it is not so. That is, in the plant cell, the nucleus is shifted towards the membrane, towards the boundary of the cell, right? And why is this so? Because the vacuole is having such a large size. So now second thing is that even this large vacuole is not necessarily spherical. It is actually present in the varied form. What I mean by this is, see, if there is some elastic bag, right, and if you're filling it with something, what do you think? The shape will remain same or the shape will change uniformly? No. So same thing is here. This vacuole is actually what? It is a sac-like structure which is filled up with something and is having the elastic membrane. So this vacuole is filled up with the content of the cells, and therefore it is getting spongy and it is increasing, or it becomes turbid sort of thing, right? And due to this thing, it is having different type of shape here, and of course it is pushing the different organelles towards the different sides. Fine. So in this case further you can see there are numerous additional chloroplast also. So this chloroplast, it was not observed in the above diagram. That means it is present only in the plant cells and is absent of course in the animal cell. Now, besides proceeding towards the chloroplast, let me tell you this thing, that what is the function of the vacuole? Why is it present? I said it is an empty space which is surrounded by the membrane, and then the different things are filled inside. So actually the function of vacuole is to store various components of the cell. The cells are secreting out some material, right? So those secretions or those materials, they are filled inside the vacuoles. Besides that, it provides rigidity and turgidity to the cell. So this rigidity and turgidity, you know what it is? Rigidity and turgidity, they actually help in maintaining the shape of the cell. It provides the mechanical strength to the cell, and that is what actually the important function here of the vacuole. Besides that, in some unicellular organisms, these vacuoles are also serving as the units where the digestion is taking place. That means it is filled up with the digestive enzymes and it helps in the digestion of food material, as in the case of paramecium or amoeba and so on. Do you think it is present in bacteria also? No, it is not present in the bacteria. And you know why? Because bacteria is a prokaryotic organism. So these are the basic important functions of the vacuoles. Now another organelle which is present in the plant cell is the chloroplast, as I mentioned earlier. So now let us see that how it appears and what is the function of the chloroplast. Fine. Well students, chloroplast is an example of plastid. Right, plastid is a actually common word used here, and one of the type of plastid is the chloroplast. Fine. So plastids, they are small oval shaped structures which are scattered in the cytoplasm of the plant cells. Mind it. Now again they are present more than one in number. Fine. So of course if it is oval shaped, then what type of appearance is it going to have in the cell? You have seen that in the earlier diagram also. Let me show it once again. Well, can you see this in this diagram? These small oval shaped structures present here, scattered in the cytoplasm, they are nothing but the chloroplast, right? And of course, chloroplast is an example of the plastid. So these oval shaped structures, they are actually having different types of colors. And even there are some different plastids which are even colorless. Fine. So now can you imagine one thing, that if these chloroplasts, or I'm sorry, the plastids, they are present in the plant cells, right? Besides that, they are having the specific color. So what could be the significance of these colored plastids? Can you imagine this point here? It is very important point here. See, the color of the plastid actually helps in imparting the color to the particular part of the plant wherever it is actually present. So you can now imagine that why these leaves appear green in color, or why the flowers are having different types of colors. It is because of the type of plastid present in those particular cells. So depending on this color, these plastids, they are of different colors, different types, I'm sorry. They can be colored or they can be colorless. Now let me show you one chart so that you can understand that what these colored and colorless plastids are known as, and what are the function of each type. So here is the flow chart. These plastids, they can be either chromoplast or it can be leucoplast. Fine. Chromoplast means what? See, the word chromo, it means color, and plast is related to plastids. So the colored plastids are scientifically known as the chromoplasts. And of course, now one question must be striking your mind, that why these plastids are having different types of colors, isn't it? So this is dependent upon the type of pigments which are present inside the chromoplast, right? So now I hope your this doubt must be clear, right? So pigments, as they are imparting color to the plastids, and of course different colors are there, so they must be having different significance. So from this, what you can say, what are the functions of these chromoplasts? Number one, it is the photosynthesis. You all know what is photosynthesis, right? Photosynthesis, it is a process of the synthesis of food material from carbon dioxide and water in the plant cells, in the presence of sunlight and the chlorophyll. Right, this is what we mean by photosynthesis. In simple terms, there is the food production in the green part of the plants. Now, how this green color is coming here in these particular plants? As I said, it is because of the plastids only, right? And secondly, in the previous definition, I said it is in the presence of chlorophyll. So now can you relate the two things? These chlorophylls, they are the green colored pigments, right? And since these are the green colored pigments, and the name is and the green color is because of chlorophyll, right? So the chromoplast, which contains the chlorophyll pigment, is known as chloroplast. And now I hope it is clear that why we have labeled chloroplast in the above diagram. Right, we have not used the term chromoplast because there are different types of chromoplast depending on the type of the color. So one of the function of these chloroplasts is the photosynthesis. Now other types of chromoplasts, which are having different types of colored pigments, they are meant for imparting the color to the particular part of the plant, like the color of the fruits, color of the vegetables, or the color of the flowers, and so on, right? Beside this, the important function which is supported by the chromoplast is the process of pollination. Do you understand what we mean by pollination? Pollination is the transfer of anthers from the male part of the flower to the female part of the flowers, right? So anthers, they are transferred from one flower to the another flower, or from one part of the flower to the another flower. So how this pollination occurs? It can occur through air, it can occur through wind, and thirdly it can occur through the insects also. When the insects, they sit over the flowers to suck the nectar and all, these anthers, they get stuck to their feet, and then when they sit on some other flowers, these anthers are transferred, right? Or the pollen grains are transferred. Fine. Now, these how these chromoplasts are, what type of role are these chromoplasts playing over here? Don't you think? Doesn't this question coming in your mind? So the answer to this is that these pigments or these colors, they are actually attracting the insects towards them, and therefore they are playing an important role in the process of the pollination. Fine. The another type of plastid is the leucoplast. The word leuco means colorless, and the plast, it means plastids. So leucoplasts, they are the colorless bodies or the colorless plastids. Now if they are not having any color, then what function are they serving for? What is the function? Right? So they are having an important function or the important role, and that is the storage of plant material. The things like oil, the proteins or lipids, steroids, different things, whatever is secreted out or which is synthesized in the plant, that is stored inside the plastid. Which type of plastid? It is leucoplast. So this is how these leucoplasts are also very important in the plant cell. So these are the important organelles which are creating the differences between the plant cell and the animal cell. Now there are several other organelles also, right, besides these basic components, and we will focus on the main functions of each organelle in the cell, and of course they are present in both animal cell and the plant cell. uh, Function wise they may have some type of differences, but the basic organization is similar. So I will just introduce some of these organelles along with its function in the plant cells and the animal cells. Fine. So that we will continue in the next session. Till then, thank you so much. Have a nice day. Goodbye.